What's up, everybody? This is Mario, and I'm back with another episode of Endurify. And today's topic is all around how can you make a big goal happen in as few of steps as possible. Now, if you're like me, you're somebody who likes to take on big challenges. And I know that's the case because you're listening to this podcast and you're the type of person that wants to become the best version of yourself. But if you're also like me, you don't like to waste your time and you want to try and be as efficient as possible. So if that's something that's interesting to you, then you're going to want to pay attention today and listen to the full episode because that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. Now, I was recently thinking about this because I am a part of a coaching mastermind, which makes me sound super official. But really, all it is it's a group of people who kind of are coming together to try and become their best through coaching. And it's the Elite Coaching Mastermind, which is put on by Mitch Matthews, who is a success coach. He's the host of the Dream Think Do podcast, which is one of the top 5% podcasts in the whole world. He's kind of like the founder of Big Dream Gatherings, which are these live events that happen all around the country. And he kind of he coaches us through how to become better coaches, speakers, and business owners. And so he is doing a training coming up, and it's all around how to become a paid speaker. And he posted in our Facebook group and said, "Hey, we've got this training coming up on Monday about how to become a paid speaker." And he wanted to know, what questions do we have about how to become a paid speaker? And the first thing that came to mind is this question that I actually learned from Brendan Burchard in his book High Performance Habits. And it's a question that I've used in the past with helping me with other goals. And it's basically a simple question that goes something like this: if there were only 5 major moves to make that goal happen, what would they be? So let me say it one more time. If there were only 5 major moves to make that goal happen, what would they be? And this is such a powerful question because it forces you to, or it forces whoever is answering this question to distill down all of the different potential routes that you could go and all of the different answers, and sum it up with 5 major moves or 5 projects. And I really like this question because it forces you to focus, and it forces you to come up with a more focused plan. It forces the individual to talk about the most kind of essential topics and the most productive topics. And it basically just doesn't leave any sort of room for busy work or projects that aren't effective. And so I really like this question. And so basically, when Mitch asked what types of questions we had about becoming a paid speaker, I said, if there were only 5 major moves to become a paid speaker, what would those be? And so I'm really looking forward to hearing the responses to that and to attending the training, because that is something that I would love to do in the future. And so, kind of coming back to that question with Brendan Burchard, the way that he used that question was when he was writing his first few books. And he interviewed a bunch of different authors who had become New York Times best-selling authors. And he asked that same question: if there were only 5 major moves to become a New York Times best-selling author, what would they be? And he got all of these different answers from the authors, and he basically came up with 5 major moves. And those 5 major moves, if you're curious, the first thing is just finish writing a good book. He said that nothing matters until you actually finish writing a good book, because there's a lot of people who have a desire to write a book, but they never actually complete the act of doing it. Kind of like there's probably a lot of people out there who say that they would want to do a marathon or compete in a triathlon, but they never actually sign up for it and do the work to show up. So that's the first thing: finish writing a good book. The second thing is, if you want a publishing deal, you need to get an agent. So that's number two. But if you don't want to go that route, you can just self publish. Number three is to start blogging and posting to social media and use that to get an email list of subscribers. And email is going to be key to promoting your book and getting people to buy it. So that third one is just posting about your book and blogging, social media to get a list of emails. Now, the fourth thing, create a book promotion webpage and offer some bonuses to get people to buy the book. So, you want to create a kind of a web page and offer some bonuses and get people to buy the book. And bonuses are a huge part of it. And then the fifth thing is to get 5 to 10 people who have big email lists to promote your book. And you can do that by either giving them a percentage of the revenue or agreeing to in the future email do a similar promotion for them. And so with those 5 major moves, he basically went out and did and achieved his goal of becoming a New York Times best-selling author by just focusing on those 5 major moves. And so I just really think that that's a powerful question and a powerful concept with whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And so, if let's pretend that if you're listening to this, your goal is to complete a triathlon. Maybe it's a sprint, maybe it's an Olympic, maybe it's a half Ironman, maybe it's a full Ironman. And if somebody were to ask me, what are the 5 major moves to completing a triathlon or an endurance event? That's what I want to go through next. Because number one, I would say, is just signing up for the race and committing to it. Because once you actually sign up for the race, you pay money. It starts to be that event is on the calendar at a specific day and time. That's when it really becomes real. So I would say that's number one. Number two, find a mentor, a coach, or somebody who's already done it before. Um, that is kind of step number two in my mind is find somebody who's done it before, somebody who can help you and guide you along the way. And if you're looking for a mentor or a coach, that can be me. That's where I come in. Number three is find a training plan. That's why I've talked about training plans this week with Everesting, with 50-mile ultra, with triathlons. That is so critical to have a plan because it tells you what you need to do day by day, week by week. So that's number three. Number four, make sure you have the necessary gear. Make sure you have a bike. Make sure you have bike shoes. Make sure you have running shoes. Make sure you have swimming, gear. That's all of the, it's going to be important to just make sure that you have the gear. And then the last thing, start training and be consistent with your training, right? So if you just follow those 5 major moves, you sign up for the race, you find a mentor or a coach, you get a training plan, you get the necessary gear, you start training and you're consistent, you're going to be successful. And so this is where I want to bring it back to you. And I just want to ask you, what is your goal? What is a big goal that you're working towards right now? Maybe it's something that you're trying to move forward by the end of 2021. Or maybe it's something that you're trying to move forward by the end of August, or maybe it's just by the end of this week. Or weekend, right? What is your goal? And then ask yourself if, if there were only 5 major moves to make that goal happen, what would they be? Try and identify those and just start getting after it. Okay. That is basically my message for today that I want you to think about with whatever goal that you have. What are the 5 major moves? Write those down. Or if it's something that you haven't done before, try and interview other people. Ask them, send them a Facebook message, send them an email, send them a text. What are the 5 major moves? What are the 5 things that I need to focus on? And just get after it. And so, that is my message for today. If you found any sort of value in the 5 major moves, I would appreciate a 5-star review. Heyo, you see that? I would really appreciate 5-star review. I've been getting a few of those this week, and it's just so motivating and so helpful to get this message out to as many people as possible. So that's what I have for today, and I'll talk to you all later.